Hello, Algebra 1. Alright, so hopefully at this point you have completed problems 1 through 13 of the multiple choice review. I want you to take a minute to check your answers based on what I have listed above here. So once you've checked your answers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these problems individually. However, if you already got all of them right, or if you only got 1 or 2 wrong, what you want to do is skip forward in the video to find those problems' explanations so that you can not have to sit through all of the questions if you already got most of them right. Once you've seen each question that you need to for 1 through 13 and the video explanation, then you're going to jump forward to where number 14 is discussed in the video, and we will go through the rest of it together. So again, everyone should go through 14 to the end with me in this video, but you should also watch any video explanation you need of these individual multiple choice problems. Okay, if this is too confusing for you, just watch the whole video. All right. One comment, number 13, there was a lettering issue. Technically, I guess it should be letter A. It is the first option, the first letter C. Okay, so the 250 interpolation would be the correct answer. All right, so at this point, I'm going to start explaining each of these problems individually. You are welcome to jump to the problem that you first got wrong, or if you got all of them right, then you want to jump forward in the video where we'll start going through number 14 and 15. Alright, so number 1, write the equation of the line in point-slope form. So for starters, I can get rid of options C and D because neither of those are in point-slope form. And for A and B, I need to always use my opposites, so that means a positive 8 and a negative 7. And that's why A is my correct answer. Number 2, slope-intercept form. You should notice that you have a starting point here, so you can plug it right into your equation, 2x minus 9, that gives us C. However, you are welcome to do point slope form as well. That would look like this. And then I'll distribute the 2. And then when you subtract the 9 over, you will also get y equals 2x minus 9. It's a little more work, but you get the same answer. Number 3, before you find the slope, you should always check. In this case, we have a matching pair. They are both x's. X equals 3 is your answer. Number 4, find the slope of a line parallel. To find your slope, you always need to solve for y. So we will go ahead and divide by 2. And my slope in this equation is 5/2. Therefore, my parallel slope will be the same. Number 5, the horizontal line is this one. It hits the y-axis at negative 3. Number 6, this one's a little bit tricky. You should be able to figure out the answer just by eliminating a bunch of them, but I'll make sure I explain why D is correct as well. Letter A, your slopes are different. You have 4 and negative 4, so it can't be A. B, your slopes are also different, 1/2 and 3/2. C, your slopes are also different. This is a negative 1 and a positive 1, which really leaves D as your only option. But the reason that these are parallel is because these are both parallel lines. One is starting at 4, and one is starting at 10. Okay, so 2 horizontal lines would be parallel to each other. Number 7, when Jesse wakes up, it is 20 degrees outside. 2 hours later, it's 27. All right, so we are going to make a table with hours and temp. When she wakes up, that's like her starting time. 2 hours later, do your jumps. 7 over 2 is the same as 3.5 degrees per hour. Notice the temperature is increasing. That means I can get rid of B because that has a negative slope. It's going downhill, which we aren't doing. And C because that's not really slope-intercept form. That leaves you with A and D. You're welcome to do PSF if you'd like, or notice that you have a starting point of 0, 20, and so that would give us A as our answer. Again, you're welcome to go ahead and do point slope. With either point, doesn't matter. But if you do, you're still going to get the same thing. Plus 20. Okay, just notice the different order, but the 3.5 is still with the x. Number 8. Another matching pair. Y's are both 7. Number 9. Determine the correlation. First, we'll draw a line. The line is going downhill. Negative correlation. Number 10. As you read these words to yourself, so you want to think if the variable is going up or if it's going down. So number of words read in a book versus time spent reading. Okay. The more time you read, the more words you will have read in the book. So since both of those are going up, this is positive correlation. Number 11. Draw your line. First thing you want to check out is whether it's going uphill or downhill. Since this line is going downhill, that means that we have a negative slope. That means that I can get rid of anything that has a positive slope, which is C and D. Next thing you want to check out is your relative starting point. Mine looks like it's at a -2.5, -3, somewhere in there. Now it's not going to fit your equation perfectly, but the starting points you have left are a -2 and a +2. Well, it's definitely not starting up here at +2. So -2 is much closer. We'll go with that as our answer. All right, our last two multiple choice problems are very similar. They're talking about interpolation and extrapolation. So you've got this equation, y equals 0.50x plus 2. It's representing the price of a movie ticket from 1990 to 1999. Your first year will always become your year 0. We're looking for the price of a movie ticket in 2010. We're going to compare those 2 years from 0 to 2010, or sorry, from 1990 to 2010 is 20 years. That's what you're going to plug in place of x. So 0.50 times 20 plus 2. You can take a minute to do that in your head or type it into your calculator. Should give you 12. So that gets rid of C and D because it's not 7. As far as whether it's interpolation or extrapolation, you're looking at our year in question, which is 2010, and you are comparing it to the data range. So the data range was 1990 to 1999. Since 2010 is outside of this data range, that is called extrapolation. So B is your answer. Number 13, the equation y equals 0.25x plus 2 represents the price of a movie ticket from 1980 to 1985. We are looking at 1982. So again, your first year is your year 0. 1982 compared to 1980 is 2 years later. That's what's going in place of x. Okay, so 2 just plugs on in. That is going to give you 0.50 plus 2, which is 250. Now, in terms of interpolation, 1982 is between these data ranges. So that means it's interpolation. All right, so now hopefully everyone is joining us. We are going to fill in the rest of these graphs together and then talk about a couple explanation problems on the back. So for starters, number 14, your slope will be 2/3. That's what's with x. Your b y-intercept will be 0, -4. Please make sure that you have your full y-intercept 0, comma. Plot it on your y-axis, and we'll go up 2 and to the right 3. We're going to do that until we run out of room, and then we'll go back to our starting point, down 2, left 3. Next, slope for number 15, -3. Y-intercept, 0, 1. Start up at 0, 1. Slope, down 3, right 1. Make sure you reverse it, up 3, left 1. Draw your line. All right, last page. For number 16, we're going to graph as well, but we are going to need to make sure that we put this into slope-intercept form first. So we'll start out by subtracting our 2x. This is going to help us solve for y. 4y equals -2x minus 8. Divide by 4. And math frac. Y equals -1/2 x minus 2. This is your slope-intercept form. M is -1/2. B is 0, -2. Your starting point, go ahead and graph that. And then because your slope is negative, you're going down, and then we'll go to the right. Down 1, right 2. Come back, up 1, left 2. Oops, and hopefully your line is a little straighter than mine. Oops, that wasn't very good either. All right, you get the point. Number 17, state the slope of the given line and the slope of a line parallel to it. Then graph the line parallel to the given line that passes the point -2, 3. This last part you can get rid of because we did not talk about perpendicular lines, and this should not be here. One less thing for you to do, right? You'll talk about perpendicular lines next year. All right, so first things first, find the slope. Down 1, right 3. Parallel slope, always the same thing. Plot your point, -2, 3. And remember, to get that parallel line, we are just doing the exact same slope. And draw your line. All right, last two problems. These are our explanation problems. All right, so next problem. Explain how to graph the equation y equals 2x minus 5 in words. Be specific. So what I'm talking about is I want to know how you would graph something like 14 or 15. I want you to use specific words, specific directions, and specific numbers. So what I'm looking for is something like this. Plot 0, -5 on your y-axis. Okay, I'm specifically saying 0, -5. I'm not saying the y-intercept. You're welcome to use that word if you want, but I'm being specific about what the y-intercept is. Then go up 2 and right 1. Notice I'm saying right, not over. Okay, because over could mean whatever. Okay, so then go up 2 and right 1. multiple times. Draw a line. Okay, if you want to be more specific about going back to your starting point and going down two and left one, that's fine. This is the bare minimum that I need. Complete sentences, you're explaining how to draw the line. This is good enough for me. Okay. All right, last one is number 19. How would you write SIF given the points 0, 12, and 9, 1? All right, so for starters, I'm going to do this one off to the side. I'm going to do my slope. You should get negative 11 over 9. Now, if you would like to explain how to do point slope form, you are more than welcome to. However, what I would like you to notice is that you have a starting point here. So that makes my explanation much faster because all I'm going to do is find the slope, which is negative 11 over 9. And then I am plugging the slope and 0, 12 into SIF. Okay, my answer is y equals that negative 11 over 9x plus 12 because I do have that starting point. Okay. Now, again, if you want to explain how to do point slope form and distribute and solve for y, that's totally fine. That is a completely acceptable way to solve this equation. But if you want to go a little faster, this is probably the way you want to go. So this is the explanation that I'm looking for. Remember, if you have questions, please come see me tomorrow morning. Your homework tonight is your Unit 5 review, and you can find that as the last worksheet in your packet. All right, have a great day. See you tomorrow.